I'm excited for this. Feels like just yesterday we did the boutique presentation. So we are recording this, hopefully. All of this stuff is sort of first crack at things. So hopefully this will go well, and know that we will be refining this process moving forward. And thank you, everybody, for your patience while we do those things. Right. So I have really bad hiccups at the moment. So I apologize if I'm hurt every once in a while. All right. So we are now 2 months into 2022, and we wanted to talk a little bit about what has kind of been going on under the hood at Ponderware, as well as the stuff that is coming up in the next couple of months. All right. So, for those of you who don't follow the Discord quite as closely, we have had a couple of staff changes recently. So we did bring in Jake IP as our operations manager. He takes a ton of sort of just administrative work off of everybody's plates. And I think as people have noticed over the last 6 weeks, that has tremendously freed up myself, as well as Wonder, who's been doing a lot of programming in terms of the Starcade launch and some other stuff that has been coming down on MoonCats. So lots more programming is happening. The other thing that is sort of happening behind the scenes is there is a ton more outreach going on. So we are able to, it just freed up so much of our time to just be able to reach out to other projects, respond to other projects' requests to us. That has been very helpful. We also finally solidified all of our guidelines for partner projects. So people can come to us and we basically have a playbook ready for them. And that in itself has been super duper helpful, just in cutting down the amount of back and forth that we need to do with potential partner projects. And Tusk is now officially full-time. So he's now had 1 full-time month under his belt. I have definitely seen sort of some commentary from you guys about our social media scheduling and a lot of the imagery that we're doing and that people like it. So that is all on Tusk's shoulders. He has been doing an amazing job. So many images, all the shiny images, so many shiny images. He also helped us prep our marketing guidelines. So we are going to be talking about marketing a little bit more later in the presentation. But know that things are happening and that there are things that have been standardized. And there has definitely been a few requests from our Ponderware accessories that is coming. And so hopefully you guys have been enjoying the accessories for the MoonCats moments. Those will continue. Those Crypto Skulls accessories flew out of the boutique. I think all 50 of them were claimed in less than 2 hours' time. Know that there are going to be more partnerships like that coming, particularly for historical NFTs. And it will benefit you to hold both a MoonCat and certain historical NFTs. We will be going into that more in the future, probably end of March, start of April. And of course, letting Tusk handle a lot of that social media and marketing asset creation has also freed up more of my time, which has let me do all of the things that I'm going to be talking about today. And so things that are coming in terms of existing staff. A couple of you have noticed, Jerfles is back. So for those of you who are not as familiar with Jerfles, Jerfles and Wander are the 2 original co-founders of MoonCats who created the project back in 2017. He assisted tremendously during up to and during the launch of the boutique. He did have to take a step back from the project for a little bit, but now he is returning and we are very, very excited to have him. He is also handling a lot of that business organization behind the scenes, under the hood sort of stuff. But one thing that we have finally been able to do is get a bank account, which, like, it sounds dumb. But I can't believe how challenging it was as an NFT company to get a bank account. No one wants to deal with you. It is so frustrating. And so just getting over that hurdle, because even as a Web3 company, we still have to exist to an extent in a Web2 world. Just getting that bank account has opened up a bunch of opportunities. So I know some of you are kind of sitting there rolling your eyes a little bit and going, who cares? But know that it is very relevant to the continued development of the MoonCats ecosystem, and that we're very stoked about it. Yeah. We've also restructured our roles, and I think I've sort of hinted about this in the MoonCat Pop DAO channel. When I came on full time to Ponderware, I basically started putting on a lot of hats and became pretty overwhelmed, and community stuff started to take second fiddle to a lot of the other things that I was doing. Now that we have restructured, a lot of that duties, as sort of I've mentioned in some of the previous slides, are now off of my plate, and I can focus on community building and ensuring that Ponderware's messages get to the community, but even more importantly, that the community's messages get to Ponderware. So I know sometimes there have been situations where people have said, I don't know if Ponderware is really listening to us. Know that we are, and that I am 100% recommitting to being your voice in the Ponderware staff. That is my primary role. So next thing, Midnight Lightning. So you guys probably know that he does some of the podcast stuff for us, and he does some of these interviews. He is going to be focusing a lot more on programming and Solidity. His primary focus, his entire focus, is going to be MoonCats at the moment. He is heads down on Gravball. We basically had a walkthrough on Friday where we basically, air quote, played through a match of Gravball, kind of from start to finish, just like going over the code to make sure that there were no problems or gaps. And we are continuing to work on that. I will be touching upon Gravball later as well. And then, yes, the last sort of big piece of the puzzle is I no longer have these huge amount of split duties, which means you are going to see me participating in and hosting a lot more Discord and Twitter spaces. And, the one big thing that I am pursuing, because the community has definitely expressed to me this interest, is increased whitelist opportunities. These will be whitelist opportunities that you will only get if you own a MoonCat. And so, and there will be some other perk or benefit that is exclusive to the MoonCat community in some fashion, because we want to make sure that if you guys get into a project, you feel at home there as a MoonCat community member. The other thing that we're going to be doing, Ty and actually we're just talking about this morning, is we are going to be branching out into, at the very least, YouTube. We're potentially looking at other social media networks. If you guys have a real strong feeling about one particular place you want us to be, definitely let us know. As I said, I'm listening to all of these suggestions, and I'm definitely communicating to them to the staff. So next, what's next? Part 1, because I had to split this into 2 because there's so much stuff for us to be talking about. So these are 3 companies that we are in the works of finalizing partnerships with. And so the one thing that I talked about in particular this morning, the Envoverse whitelist is only going to be open to the MoonCat owners role on Discord. There will only be 50 slots. But MoonCat community members will get to not only mint early, but they will get to mint at a reduced price. And Envoverse NFTs that are owned by someone who also owns a MoonCat will have a MoonCat theme to them. We are also in discussions with Toymint. That partnership is still in the works, so I am not able to commit much conversation to it at this time, but know that it is coming, and the details will probably be close to the start of April, potentially earlier, but keep an eye out. Again, this will be something where, as a MoonCat owner, you will be privy to potentially a lower mint price, but definitely opportunity to mint something that is exclusive to MoonCat owners. And the last thing, which I showed off at the start of this presentation, is NFT merchandise. And so we are really excited that NFT-merchandise.io is going to be our first merchandising partner, although it won't be our last. We are exploring multiple different relationships in terms of the merchandise that you will be able to buy. The one thing that is going to be fun about NFT merchandise is you will not only be able to create items that have your own MoonCat on them, but it is going to be home to exclusive NFT Zero merchandise. Or NFT Zero. MoonCat Zero. MoonCat Zero merchandise. Sorry. Yeah. So on top of, sorry, I just really needed a drink there. On top of being able to print designs that have your own MoonCat on it for yourself and for purchasing MoonCat Zero merchandise, we have secured a 10% discount code for all wallets that own a MoonCat. So more details of that to be coming this week, probably tomorrow, but no later than Friday. So pretty excited for that. I know people have expressed a lot of interest in getting stuff with their MoonCats on it. And as I said, this is only the first of several merchandise opportunities we're looking at, although the other ones will probably be later in the year. So if you are interested in merchandise with your MoonCat on it, don't wait. This will be your opportunity. I'm pretty excited to be working with NFT merchandise in particular, because one of the things that they are able to do is they ship from quite a number of locations. So unlike some of the other NFT merchandise retailers out there, significantly reduced chance of you hitting import fees, particularly for our friends in Europe and for our Canadian friends. That always drives me crazy. So we are definitely looking at more Discord and Twitter spaces, looking at doing a lot more co-marketing with historical NFTs. You guys definitely seem to dig the collaboration we did with Crypto Skulls. We've done a couple of Twitter spaces with the early NFT gang, Crypto Cats, Pixel Map, Curio Cards, MoonCats. And so those will continue moving forward. And like I said, we are definitely looking at rewarding those who own historical NFTs in general. All right, what's next? Part 2. So marketing, the thing that you have all been asking about, and know that there has been actually quite a bit of movement on this. So with Tuss coming on to the team full time, we are definitely looking at the way we market, the way we approach marketing with partners, just sort of everything top to bottom. We are looking at more marketing opportunities, and sort of in pursuit of that, we are actually now in discussion with a marketing agency, actually 2 as of this weekend. So I don't know how quickly those conversations are going to go, because there is a huge amount of competition in the Web3 space for a limited number of marketing agencies. And each of those marketing agencies have a pretty small number of slots. This is actually a connection that I made through my former life in gaming development. So it is someone who is pivoting from gaming to Web3. They are pretty excited to do so, but it's a matter of how quickly they make that transition. you know, the thing that we've discovered after doing pretty significant research and sort of doing our own marketing stuff through the end of 2021 is absolutely everything is pay to play, whether it is putting out a press release, getting into a video, getting onto podcasts, all coverage opportunities are paid. And so we are, discussing and setting aside a budget to continue to support those marketing aims and needs. Um, and the one thing that we are definitely wanting to start doing moving forward is putting out press releases for the various milestones that MoonCats hit. All press release for basically every crypto news website and even some crypto adjacent websites. They are all a paid service, and they all have different guidelines for them. And so getting that all sorted and just sort of getting into the rhythm of doing this is going to be something that we will have to grow into, but know that there are things happening. Right, so this screenshot should look, at least hopefully, somewhat familiar to folks. Because this is the Grav Ball teaser that we gave out a couple of weeks ago. This is our standard rule book that sort of explains how MoonCats are sorted into teams and gives a little bit of insight into how things will work. So Grav Ball programming is going really well. We actually just had another sort of conversation about structure and timing in terms of release and how we're going to let people into the game and get beta testing and sort of like spinning up to a full sort of grab ball experience. We're finalizing the visual assets. We want grab ball to be much like a lot of the things that we do, sort of like a whole experience rather than just be like something that is something you do but isn't really involved in the MoonCats ecosystem as a whole. We want it to be part of a larger experience and not just sort of like a standalone game. So it is going to be browser based because we feel like that's the most accessible. We're also programming this with smart contracts, and so this is the simplest way to do it. We could throw a wrapper around it so that you could plop it on to a phone, but that's something that we can potentially explore down the line. One thing that we haven't talked about a ton, but that we are going to be talking about a lot more in March is MoonCat color, MoonCat coat patterns, and MoonCat expressions all matter in terms of how a MoonCat performs in Graph-Ball. So if you have nothing but spotted shy MoonCats, you are going to have a very samey team. So if you guys are thinking about purchasing additional MoonCats in order to participate in more Grav Ball games, variety is going to be the spice of life. And of course, I do want to confirm that any MoonCat can use any loot print for MoonCats. The requirement is to have a spaceship. Which spaceship doesn't matter as much, although the type of spaceship will unlock some optional abilities. The one exception to this, of course, is if you have a hero loot print, that is the hero silver loot prints that the 160 Genesis MoonCats that stayed on the moon after the keys were burned associate with. It's neither black nor white, it's hero silver. So Genesis MoonCats and a MoonCat that is holding a hero silver loot print are able to join any team. And I see a few Genesis MoonCats in this phone call. So I think it's going to be really sort of interesting to see how the Genesis MoonCats decide to jump into games because, do you join the team that is already winning? Do you join a team that has quite a few people? Do you join a team that has the best potential mix of MoonCats in it? I'm kind of really curious to see where each of our Genesis participants will begin to slot into the game because there is not Because there's not going to be a single right answer to where a Genesis goes inside of an individual match. And so I'm really, really curious to see if people are going to like try to uh, scout the Genesis cats to be on their teams, or how that's going to go. Beautiful and Cooked One are about to become the most popular cats on the block. So, one thing that we want to make sure is clearly understood, and we are going to continue messaging around this both after this call um, throughout March, throughout the start of Grav Ball, continuing on. Functionality for Grav Ball is going to be released in the seasons. So there are some things that we've talked about, for example, a MoonCat pop, allowing you to get fizzed or juiced. That is something that is going to be a later season, but it is going to be something that we are going to work into Grav Ball in general. And so we just want people to understand that, you know, we have a lot of ideas and we are going to continue working them into Grav Ball. But don't be upset if your favorite thing does not get in at launch, because it may be coming right around the corner. And, you know, we hinted at this last week a couple different times, but we are going to be looking for beta testers in order to ensure that you know, the game is working as intended, the balance is working as intended. Um, and we're still sort of finalizing what that's going to look like. The one thing that we will tell you is we are specifically going to be looking for MoonCats that have a loot print and a MoonCat pop in their purse. That will sort of be like your ticket for entry into the earliest matches of Grav Ball. And so if you are missing one of those pieces and are interested in trying out some of the earliest matches, this is your FYI that you have time to scoop these two things up before we get into looking at which MoonCats are eligible. Although we will warn you, pardon my French, but this game is going to be janky as fuck when it first comes out. And so this is why we are going to be testing to make sure that we catch as much of that as possible. And hopefully we will have a smooth transition from early seasons to season 0 to season 1, and moving on from there. Like my button won't press. All right, roadmap in general. We want to address some of the stuff on the roadmap. We are continuing to coordinate with metaverses as well as other games that are coming down the line. Obviously, we have been huge fans of Web3. There has been a lot of work done on the World Wide Web team side to get the MoonCat walk cycle in. That is actually in the apartment designer right now, and in general will be more widely available, I think, this week. Although for the moment, yeah, potentially tonight. I believe for the moment that walk cycle is going to be limited to inside of those apartments, but it will be more broadly available moving forward. It's just a matter of when. And as much as we want to be like, hey guys, when, they are working with dozens of other projects, and we want to be a good partner, and that means not being a pain in the arse. But we are staying in communication with them. We are, you know, part of their partners Discord and are having, you know, ongoing conversations with them. So know that that communication channel is open and we are talking with them, and that we are excited to continue working with them. Nope. Sandbox, however, has been slow and painful. As I would like them to be as good as World Wide Web. They're not, which is a bit of a bummer. On the other hand, Decentraland, which a couple people have inquired about us, is definitely on our radar. We are working on a Decentraland partnership at the moment, which I don't have final details for. Probably going to be 4 to 6 weeks for that, but know that it is coming. I know there's at least a couple of you that I have talked to before that have Decentraland land or characters, so hopefully this is of interest to you. One change that we are making to the MoonCats roadmap, we had initially talked about naming in the acclimated wrapper as a Q2 project, and at the moment we are softly sliding that into Q3 based on community sentiment and priority. Basically, we have heard pretty loud and clear that Gravball is the primary thing that people are interested in right now, and we are not abandoning naming in the acclimated wrapper, but it is going to come after Gravball. And since Gravball will not be a one and done programming, acclimated wrapper naming is sliding just a tiny bit. But we're moving up something in exchange for that. For those of you who have looked at the Discordant Meows entry on the roadmap, that is currently slotted into long range, and it is actually going to move up into short range very shortly. We are finalizing a partnership announcement in the coming weeks, and that partnership announcement will probably be something that is ongoing not only through 2022, but also beyond that, and we're really, really excited for it. It's something that we've been trying to figure out if we should sort of tease it in screenshots of things that are going on and conversations that are happening, and we're sort of like, guess we have to hold off for now. But I really hope people are going to be excited for it. I'm pretty excited for it, but I'm obviously pretty biased. In terms of scheduling, we also want to be realistic that the full Gravball release is going to slip deeper into Q2. But we're going to sort of make a final determination on what is coming and when that is going to be happening, probably in about 2 weeks. So one of the things that we're going to be doing to ensure that everybody has the most up-to-date information on Gravball is we are going to be continuing this sort of Ponderware Present series where we have this sort of conversation on this Discord space every couple of weeks. Monday at 1 p.m. Central is kind of going to be this standing time where we have this. And so the plan at the moment is to have a discussion with Midnight Lightning and myself in 2 weeks' time, where we're talking a little bit more about our sort of thoughts about Gravball being not just a game, but also a platform, something that you are in as part of a full MoonCats experience, and not just like a game that you open up on your phone for 5 minutes and then shut down for the day. So as I said, we are aiming to have this in at March 14th at 1 p.m. Central, so same time as this, just 2 weeks from now. And the one thing that we do want to emphasize, because it is obviously a big request in the community, is the staking aspect of Gravball will be the thing that is to release first. The other thing that we are doing is we are actually talking with a couple of other metaverses and games to ensure that you guys have multiple things that to do with your MoonCats if you so choose to do so. Sorry, give me 1 second. I need a drink. So, we have purchased quite a number of zoo tokens. So when ZooDAO launches their game, you will be able to enter your MoonCats into that, and we will be able to assist in supporting the community with their victory goals. And, the one thing that we are continuing to have ongoing conversations about, particularly with everything that happened over the weekend with Pixelmon and WGM impressions or interface. Why can I never remember the name of that project? WGM impressions, WGMI impressions. This is our first foray into game dev. We aren't game devs, but we are going to make a game. But we are definitely watching and learning from the things that are happening in the NFT gaming space right now. Because the fewer pitfalls, the more pitfalls we can avoid, the happier we will be. And I think the happier you as a community will be. So that is everything that I had to show you guys today. I'm going to jump back over to partnership slide because I want to make sure that you guys have an opportunity to actually look at these things. So give me 1 second so that I can take a quick drink, and then I'm going to move into the next section. So at this point, I'm kind of going to open it up a little bit to questions from folks. If there is a Ponderware Presents text channel immediately above this voice channel under information. If you guys have questions about anything that I covered in the presentation so far, please fire those away. And even if I can't answer it immediately, I will make my best effort to answer it asynchronously. Sweet. I see several people typing. The one thing that I definitely want to talk about in terms of partnerships is one of the big reasons why we had a bit of a drought in terms of whitelisting opportunities through 2021 is because a lot of the projects that came to us were not good. And, I definitely want to make sure that if we are presenting you guys with opportunities to buy into another NFTs ecosystem, that we have faith in that ecosystem being long term. And so, we were having all sorts of offers being thrown at us. But we started sort of like digging into the contracts, and there was some really skeevy stuff where it was like, yes, we would like to offer MoonCats 100 whitelist spots. You have to join the Discord, stand on your head for 2 minutes, invite 16 and a half of your friends, retweet these 17 links, and then you can get onto the whitelist. And we were sort of like, how about no? Because if MoonCats are going to be invested into your NFT, they should actually be interested in your NFT, not in grinding for a spot on your whitelist. And I know that's become like a really popular model is grinding onto a whitelist. We're not fans, and we definitely have had some opportunities where people are like, yeah, normally we make people grind, but you can cut to the front of the line. And that is very appealing. I think that's 100% a good offer. But when you start digging into the contract code, it's like, oh, no, this is a rug waiting to happen. So know that sometimes if there's no whitelist opportunities, it is just because we are doing our due diligence before they hit to ensure that you guys get sort of the best opportunity to get into the projects that we have faith will be long term. Right. All right. Let's see. I'm going to try to jump into these. Beautiful Data asks, what is the approach on the game contract? Is it upgradable in case any future ideas or bugs come up? I'm not sure if any past MoonCat contracts were upgradable. So can you hang on to that question? And in 2 weeks, when Midnight and I come back and start talking about Gravball, I'm going to write this down as something that we are going to want to tackle when we have that presentation. And tuss tuss, I'm just going to have you write that down so that I don't forget. Next question was from Kevin. Would it be possible for a single MoonCat to be staked in ZooDAO and GravBall at the same time? We won't know until the ZooDAO staking officially starts. It is their aim for you to be able to be both staked into ZooDAO and staked into native projects for the NFT. Because one of their sort of big sort of centerpieces is like you are able, and I can't remember if it was Bored Apes or Cyger Kongs or which one. There was one that guaranteed you would be able to both get your bananas and be able to participate in ZooDAO. But of course, that is something that we will have to wait and see once it's deployed, if they were able to get behind that aim. Right. So Heavy asks, without giving away too many details, can you expand on GravBall as a platform and what that means? In general, we want it to be a fun experience that is sort of like integral to all of the things that you do with your MoonCat. And I am worried that if I try to explain much further than that, I'm going to go into territory that I should not be talking about yet. But it is definitely something we are going to talk about when we have midnight in a couple of weeks. So please stay tuned for that. Is Crunchy Cat asks, is there any details you can share about tokenomics or anything else regarding the staking or GravBall rewards? Not yet. I'm sorry. I do have to punt some of these questions for GravBall into the next conversation on GravBall, because I want to make sure that I am not giving you incorrect information, nor that I am committing pondaware to something that I have misunderstood that has been expressed to me. So I'm sorry if I am a little more guarded than I would like to be in terms of GravBall, but I definitely want to make sure that the information that you guys get is right. All right. Meow asks, are there going to be multiple GravBall games running at the same time? Is it multiple teams against each other? At the moment, the plan is to be able to have multiple GravBall games going, although your MoonCat will only be able to participate in one game at a time. Potential plans for an ERC20 token associated with GravBall? Yes. Pugme. Oh, this Pugme comments, I totally agree with what's being said about quality partnerships. It's important to retain the brand of MoonCats. Thank you. No, 100%. Like, it's sometimes really frustrating because I want to give you guys more whitelist opportunities. I clearly see that as a value of holding a MoonCat. But there was a pretty rough period of time where people were coming to us with like, we want you to be part of our lamp project. And if you collect these 6 other NFTs, your lamp will light up brighter and brighter. It's like, how about you light it up brightly with a MoonCat? Oh, no, we can't do that. We're already locked in. All right, then see ya. That's frustrating. So, Wenrug. Thanks, Crunchy Cat. Are there any parts of Cooked One asks, are there any parts of what has been discussed or other roadmap items that are dependent upon the Coinbase launch? There is going to be things that are exclusive to Coinbase. And I think that if I say anything more than that, I will be in danger of violating our NDA. So we are sincerely excited to be a launch partner at Coinbase. I'm so excited for the things that I have seen in terms of what they have up their sleeve. We have regular email and synchronous communication with them. And again, I am like very scared of violating the NDA. So I don't want to get too much deeper into Coinbase, but things are coming. All right. What is the approach? So Cat Dot asks, what is the approach behind Ponderware writing contracts for other projects? Is Ponderware becoming a dev studio? Yes. In part. So what is likely going to happen is, in the same way that an indie game studio not only makes their own games, but also writes games for larger developers and publishers, we are going to be developing projects for other companies to ensure the lights stay on, and that we can continue funding inside of the MoonCats ecosystem. Because realistically, our sort of goal is to have MoonCats in as many diamond paws as possible. We want to motivate people to hold on to a MoonCat long term. And if our primary motivator is don't sell your MoonCat, it means that we don't get the fees from MoonCats changing hands, which is the way that Ponderware at the moment makes money. And so if we are going to continue developing inside of the MoonCats ecosystem, and we want to continue developing things that are fun and interesting, rather than being forced to focus on developing things that make money, like, we can't wring water from a stone. And we love you guys, and we want to give you guys as much as you guys give us. That sort of balance of things that we give for you for free and things that we ask you to pay for needs to be in balance. And it's something that I am like constantly pounding on the rest of the staff of like, all right, does this meet our give and receive goals from the community? It is something that I talk about a lot, to the point where I feel like I annoy the other staff doing it. So, we are definitely going to be taking, development projects, but know that there will always be a chunk of Ponderware that is exclusively and explicitly focused on MoonCats. That will include myself as your community manager. That will include Ty as your social media manager and marketing manager and accessory designer extraordinaire. Midnight will always be the lead programmer for MoonCats. Well, at least for the long term. Guess we have to like staple him to the table. Midnight, you are forevermore the programmer for MoonCats. You may not leave. To the programming dungeon for you. Cat Dad asks, any plans for MoonCat moments? Yes. But it's tied into Coinbase, so I can't talk about it yet. Bival asks, MoonCat messaging system. Yes. One of the things that we are talking about doing is utilizing the purse section of MoonCat, the MoonCat community site, to be your hub for all things MoonCats. At the moment, if you want to contact someone that has, say, the twin of your MoonCat or the clone of your MoonCat, or is just in the litter of your MoonCat, or maybe you want to say hello to your MoonCat neighbor. So maybe I want to say hi to 17969 or 17971 and be like, hey, I'm your MoonCat neighbor. How's it going? There's no way to do that at the moment on the blockchain. But we really want to continue to engage and build the community everywhere we can, even if it means going outside of Discord. And that's definitely something that we are continuing to look at. We have a meeting with a sort of storied company tomorrow that we're going to be talking about, like, how do we let people engage in the fantasy that is MoonCats and build up their own MoonCat narrative and things like that. You know, we partnered with Hype at the end of last year, and I see people are still writing on that every once in a while, which kind of makes me happy. MoonCat Bros needs to put out a new chapter, though. Come on, man. Chop, chop. I see you, Acid Man.
Hello.
Putting Acid Man on. Sorry. Right.
Sorry, I was working. What was that?
I'm putting you on notice. More MoonCat Bros chapters, please.
Oh, I've been wanting to write a lot of those MoonCat Bros, but I feel like I should wait for things to come with web because I wanted to
Woo.
be all integrated. You know, like they already have a house, their own ENS, so hopefully I can get that wrapped up soon.
Awesome. All right. Moving on to other questions. Any update or sorry, will accessories play any part now or in the future in Gravball? Yes. There is definitely going to be functionality that we will be exploring in terms of what accessories bring to Gravball, potentially matches that require specific accessories or a specific category of accessories. One of the things that we have but have not fully sort of utilized at the moment is accessories can actually be divided into categories. And we haven't really felt a strong need to use it because the different types of accessories have sort of been well understood at this point. If we were to suddenly, you know, jump up to like 2,000 or 2,500 accessories in the boutique, we would definitely prioritize getting those sort of categories of accessories out. But we could definitely potentially bake into Gravball matches, your cat must be wearing a hat. And I mean, it could be a broad sort of requirement, your cat must be wearing a hat, or it can be really specific. Your cat must be wearing an early acclimator helm. But those are ideas that are currently on paper and have not been fully vetted. So know that that is the plan, but that is not the guarantee. And so very important distinction. Next, Heavy asks, any update on the plushies? Yes. I literally just got back the next iteration right before we got into this Discord presentation. It is not quite right yet. They are much closer, although I don't know what the hell they did with the tail because it looks like it's like pinned on the top of its arse in a way that is unbelievably strange. So we are probably going to be going another round of revisions on the plushie before we thank you, Crunchy Cat. Yeah, it's just it's great because it's like every time they get two things right and then one thing that is like so masterfully wrong that I just have many questions. So this is very normal for developing a plushie. One of the things that I used to work on when I was in the gaming industry was a serial farming game that put out an entry like every year or two. And so like you would be surprised how easy it is to screw up a cow or a dog or a cat. I think the cat plushie for the game that I worked on went through like 10 iterations. It took like a year to get it right. So know that just because it isn't right now doesn't mean that we are going to give up on it. And that plushie, I think I've mentioned it before, is going to be actually part of a charity fundraising that we're going to be doing with a partner. So I am very excited to make sure that that plushie is right and is cute and is adorable and will look good whether you're 5 or 35 or older. Like me. But yes, I'm committed to making sure that it's right. I would rather it be right and a little later than kind of janky and available sooner. Which is kind of like our pretty standard in terms of MoonCats. We would rather get something out a little bit later than rush it out now and it be half baked. Yeah. So Bavali, oh yes, and see, Envolverse sounds really cool, and it is kind of a cool cause. And their big thing is like metaverse ready avatars, and I'm pretty down for that because MoonCats as avatars is pretty awesome, but I know there's a pretty large section of the community that are like MoonCats are the pets of the metaverse. It's like, all right, if MoonCats are the pets of the metaverse, what is your avatar going to be? And we want to make sure that we continue giving you guys opportunities to mint into avatars that can potentially be used in these metaverses. So that is something that is deeply on our mind in terms of what partnership opportunities we're looking for and which ones we're pursuing. We aren't just waiting for people to come to us. We are actively looking for projects. Has the MoonCat team been approached by famous influencers or celebrities to acquire some MoonCats and promote for a large and massive adoption? We have been approached by one person and we ended up turning them down because the other NFTs that they were promoting were super duper sketchy. And they were also on an L2. And so we have been told by the community this is not really something the community wants us to pursue. We did our due diligence on that particular opportunity because we wanted to make sure that if we were going to say no, it was going to be a no for a real reason and not just we're not buying shills, although that definitely played into it. Other question from MoonCat Coddler: will our MoonCats become 3D? It is not something we have in our plans at this time. We feel like metaverses, like Isotile, and in theory, the Sandbox, and in theory, Decentraland, have handled that really well, just with minimal input from us. The community, particularly Acid Man and Zibzub and Control R and Vinny, did such a good job with that walk cycle. Like, everybody say thank you to that team for creating that walk cycle because, yeah, it is amazing. We are definitely keeping an eye out for sentiment on if people are interested in seeing 3D MoonCats. It has not been a common request, an ongoing request at the moment, just because each individual metaverse that requires MoonCats in 3Ds have simply come up with their own solution. But if there is a growing interest in that, it is not a hard no. It is not on our radar currently, and that can change. And hopefully that distinction makes sense. Oh, sorry, give me a quick. Yes. Yeah. I mean, we are always here to support, people building within the community. There's a build page that basically gives you all of the tools on mooncat.community. But if you have specific technical questions, if you have broader questions, if you have, questions of any kind, if you want to run an idea by us, never hesitate to say, hey, I have a question. Can you help? Because the answer will be, you bet. Let's have a conversation. So know that we are very open to this. We anticipate people to build with and around MoonCats, and we are here to facilitate that in whatever way possible. Baval asks, fantasy grav ball for non-MoonCat owners. They can bet on tokens. So we've actually had this conversation, and we have concerns because I am pretty much like, heck yeah, so I'm a huge fantasy football player. I love fantasy football, and I am in multiple fantasy football leagues. However, here's the problem that we have. Betting starts to get into murky legal territory for which there is not a lot of law, but a lot of liability. And so it is something that we are continuing to have an ongoing conversation about, but it is not something that we are comfortable committing to at this time. And know that it is largely because it's shaky ground and we don't know enough. We are continuing to educate ourselves and do continued research. It definitely won't be at launch. And I can't guarantee it'll be down the line, but know that that conversation has happened, is happening, and probably will be continuing on. All right. Zibzob asks, any updates on accessories and badges that are limited to specific years or day ones? They are done. We have not found a good time to deploy them because at the moment there is a fair amount of work that needs to go into ensuring that the exception lists are correctly done. It is on our to-do. I will hope that it will be done in March. And what I will probably do is, hey, Ty, can you write that down to make sure that I put it into our next group meeting? Because I don't want to forget. All right. And then Crownless has a very good follow-up. Will there be a way for people to limit accessories to a certain year, color, or hue, pattern, or expression? Yes. So actually, Dam is our resident boutique designer. He is the one that is doing all of the programming for the boutique. He is actually just working on this today. And so in the hopefully not so distant future, as you manage your accessory, you will be able to go in and say, I would like to restrict this to, here is my checklist, or I want to manually restrict this to this range of cats. And so that is coming soon, Tam. We had done a bunch of work on this in the past, and it was much more fiddly to get it working than we had originally anticipated. And so it was kind of one of those things where I didn't want to give a date because I felt like every time we felt like it was working right, something broke. Or it actually wasn't working right. Oh no. All right. Okay. We got to fix it now. So all right, we are past the 1 hour mark. Is there any last questions that people want to drop into the Ponderware Presents Q&A channel before we wrap things up for the evening? I see a couple people typing. Is it going to rain tomorrow? Well, I live somewhere that at this time of year it snows. It is not going to snow tomorrow because we are finally above freezing. Oh, what's freezing here? 30, 32 Fahrenheit? Oh, Americans, please get on metric. So, all right. I think we will wrap things up for today. But thank you everybody for coming. I hope you guys found this interesting and informative and relevant to your long-term holding of MoonCats. And, if we wrap things up and you step away and, later tonight you realize, oh, I'm stupid, I forgot to ask this really important question. You can always tag me in one of the channels. You can send me a DM. Never feel like you have to ask permission to reach out to me. just shoot me a message, tag me, shoot me a friend request, whatever you need to get in touch with me, and I will be able to get back around with you at some point. Thank you, everybody, and we will see you again in 2 weeks' time for a graph ball update. So, bye, everybody.